we just went to broke gimbo and seemed to like be able to talk and work through things. And it wasn't like, I didn't really feel like we had to work through a lot of things, but just kind of face those demons in a way. And I found out really, in a crazy way, like how much we were trying to protect something that didn't matter, like a ranking. And that really wore on us. And I, as a young head coach, I didn't realize it at the time. So that part was a real good growing experience for me as well.
Coach, you've had some time to reflect since your season ended. How are you feeling?
Tired. I think that would be the first word. My body, my brain. But I honestly feel good. Way different than last year. Last year was a really hard ending. This year, I really feel good about this team. I think we got everything we could out of them. We had some deficiencies, we knew, but we got through it. We had the lowest of lows. For a moment there, losing 11 out of 13, but we had some highest of highs, being 39-3 at one point, and having a ranking of number 2 for probably 10 weeks. That's something that this program has never had. And I think it was part of our 11 for 13 too, dealing with that and learning how to deal with that type of stuff. So as I sit back here, it hasn't been that long yet, but as I sit back here, I'm very happy. I don't think I'll cry. I think I've already cried. I think I'm good. I think have put it to bed, and can start maybe at an earlier time than ever, just being really appreciative of these kids.
You seem very content. How long after the 2022 season did it take you to get to this contentness?
I honestly think I just put 22 and 23 to bed. I think it's been a whole year. I think that probably, you asking that is made me to just go, ugh. I think I just was part of this process, just with everything that we went through with change and staff change and new players, 12 of them, and everything that we added, so rewarding, but just, it was just hard. It was hard to get through all of that. And I think being able to finish this last year the way we did, to be able to get back to OKC for a fourth year in a row, it's incredible.
Saw your post-game locker room speech. What was your message to the team after that loss?
I think I said the thing that sticks out at me is that it's supposed to hurt.
I hate saying this, but it's supposed to hurt. Supposed to. And it's okay. It is okay. Okay? And we'll look back, and there's so much that we've got to be proud of. But you seniors, you guys, amazing. And you've laid the groundwork for the future.
Anytime you are working for something, I said I wasn't gonna cry, but this kind of makes me want to cry. Anytime you work like these kids work and like this staff works, when it comes to an end, it's hard, and it hurts. So I just wanted to make sure that they knew that it's okay that it hurts. You should be proud of what you've done. You should take as much time in this room as you need, because it'll be the last time that this team is all together at one time. It'll never happen again. So you start thinking about that kind of stuff, and it kind of gets heavy and deep. And so, I can't recall everything I said, but those are the things that I remember most, and just thanking them for representing this program the Cowgirl way.
We've got a lot that we can get better from, a lot, okay? A lot that we can get better from, and we took some big steps. And we just got to keep kicking at those shins. okay, and they'll break. But you got to keep kicking. You got to find the will to just keep kicking people's shins, okay, and they will break.
What did you mean when you told your players to keep kicking shins in the post-game locker room speech?
Well, I've said that to our program for a long time. I guess I probably never said it publicly like that. And what I mean is if I walk up to you and every day I kick your shin, it's gonna break at some point. And so I said, don't wonder when, just keep kicking the shins of your opponents every day. And eventually they're gonna fall and they're gonna break. And it's just this relentless pursuit of what you want. And so that was kind of the gist of that.
For your effort, for our staff's effort, I love you, thank you. Okay, I'm proud of the way that you represent OSU. I'm proud of the way that you represent the program, the Cowgirl way. It's amazing. When the year started, 12 newcomers, are you kidding me? The way you guys just immersed yourself into this program and to be able to do this is crazy great.
Told them to be proud of what they'd accomplished this season.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of when it comes to this team?
I'm proud of the way they came out of that bad spot. We just went to Brokimbo and seemed to be able to talk and work through things, and it wasn't like I didn't really feel like we had to work through a lot of things, but just kind of face those demons in a way. And I found out really, in a crazy way, how much we were trying to protect something that didn't matter, like a ranking, and that really wore on us. And I, as a young head coach, I didn't realize it at the time. So that part was a real good growing experience for me as well. So I don't know. It was fulfilling. Everything that we did was fulfilling, and these kids handled all the negative. Probably the first time that our program has felt that. I can tell you it's the first time I felt it. I didn't like it. It's why I always say I don't want any credit, because then I don't have to take any blame. And unfortunately, I get way too much credit and probably way too much blame. And it's the first time I've heard it. I don't read it unless it's sent to me, but it was an eye-opening experience, you know what I mean? And so I'm just proud of the way our team handled all of that stuff.
Let's get the tears out, okay? And then let's put some smiles on your faces as you guys walk out of here. There is no reason that you shouldn't have a smile on your face. None. When you walk out of here, when you're ready, okay? Are with people here that are gooned out excited about you guys. You guys just continue to raise the bar. Put a smile on your face, take pictures, sign autographs, do whatever it is, okay? But enjoy this, okay? Proud of you.
Something that stuck out to me about your speech to the team was walk out of this locker room with a smile. And that's hard to do,
Yeah.
especially for those seniors where that's the last game of softball they might play. Why was that so important for you?
Well, I don't know that walking outside to a crowd of 500 people that are waiting to see you crying, I don't know that that's kind of what I think they want people to do us see. I want them to walk out of that room going, we're pretty good. We just had another incredible year. Four years in a row in the top 5. Pretty dang good. So there's no reason to take that emotion out there. Leave that emotion here with your teammates, because they're the only ones who can truly relate to that. Nobody else can. They're going to be saying things to you that they really don't even understand, and they're just trying to make you feel better. So part of life is go out there and face it and be proud of what you've just done. And There's going to be a ton of little girls out there, and your parents that have been through all of this. They want to see you happy, whether you're a freshman or it's over. They want to see you happy, because what you did should make you happy.
It's hard though, right?
I mean, being here is hard. Every day is hard for these kids here. It's not easy. There's not an easy day here. It may get easier as you're a hair older, but every day here is hard. So ending the season's hard. Starting the season's hard. I mean, we already have freshmen that have moved in here that are for next year that probably this morning are going, what am I doing here? Because it's hard. It's harder than anything that they've ever done. So it's hard, but it's okay.
Do you remember how long it took you to get out of that locker room?
I was probably one of the first ones out, because I gave hugs to everybody before I walked out of there. And then I wanted them to have time together. It's actually my least favorite part of that whole situation, because it's awkward. Like, I don't know if it's just like, it's awkward. And I want them, I think I'm better now than I was last year and the year before, of like, it's their moment. It's not mine. I always tell them that this is not my team, it's your team. I'm just really a placeholder here. And one day, hopefully on my own terms, I won't be the coach here. There'll be somebody new, but it doesn't make sense that I should be in there sharing in that moment with them. I've had a lot of great moments, and I'll continue to have those with those kids that I'll talk to forever, or at least as long as I'm alive. And I wanted them to have the moment with themselves.
What did this senior class do for this team and this program?
They changed it. We've talked about this. I've had 2 notes on my desk for 7 years. And one of them said the Cowgirl way. And I think it's taken us like 7 years to define that. We've told that story. It's awesome. And the other one is change it. And it's a pretty broad note, because like initially I put it up there for kids who walk in and don't like their role. And it takes guts to walk into the coach's office and talk about that stuff. So I put it up there because I just was like, well, if you don't like it, then change it. But it's what you've earned now. And so when I think about the senior class, we asked them to come in here and change it. And they did that. I mean, 4 years to OKC, All-Americans, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, the maturity, the growth, growth as people, growth as players. I mean, it's just, they're the greatest class ever here. And I don't say that lightly. I have a lot of respect for Coach Fisher and what she did before me. But I just don't think that there's we've never gone 4 in a row. The landscape of softball is different now, so that's probably a little bit unfair to Coach Fisher and her kids, because they didn't get the notoriety that women are getting now, which they deserve. So I'm glad that we can be part of that. But they changed it, and they put this program on a new road. It's a lonely road, but it's a good road.
Why is it lonely?
Because to be great, you have to sacrifice. You have to be willing to give things up. You have to be willing to be different. You have to be willing to adapt to change. like these kids did in their last year with a new hitting coach and new things that we brought into this. Every pitcher that ever walks in here says, I want to be your ace. And I just said, well, I really think you ought to think about that, because it is a lonely road. There's a lot of things done that nobody sees that you have to do on your own. And if you're looking for the notoriety, you're not an ace. You're just part of this team. But being an ace is doing things that nobody wants to do. Being the shortstop here is tough. Doing the things that these kids do here, it gets lonely because you just have to sacrifice.
Looking at this season as a whole, what do you consider the high point?
I don't know. Lots of high points. We went to Clearwater and went 5-0 against a crazy great schedule early on in the season that like we were already ranked 2 or 3, but it's solidified us as a contender. I think maybe my coolest moment was in Broken Bow when we saw our name pop up at 6. The reaction that I saw from our team was so organically beautiful and like powerful, and like it told me, like it gave me like clarity on why we sucked for 13 games. Like it gave me that. It told me right then we were trying to protect something that we didn't have. And I just like, wow, this is a big growing experience for me as well. And so their reaction was just incredible. I caught myself, I was sitting down and I stood up and pumped my fist and I was like, oh, sit down. Like, don't show that. But that's who I am, right? But I think it was me too. Like we were trying to protect this stuff that doesn't matter. And so I think that was probably the high point. Just to see you in those moments, you really see how people care, and this group cares.
You said you were trying to protect something that doesn't matter and that you didn't have. What are you referring to?
Rankings, seeds, in the tournament. I think at times it's easy when you're ranked up there and people are talking about you. It gets easy to remember or to forget that we don't have a title. Okay, so why are we playing to not lose instead of playing to win? Why aren't we the aggressor? Why aren't we doing all of this stuff? Because we have nothing that anybody wants. Like we have nothing. Like everybody that plays Division I softball wants that trophy. And we don't have one. We've got a lot of neat participant ones, 15 of them. But we want the one that says champion. And so I think we can lose sight at times that we really don't. We're like, why are we playing with anything to lose? We don't have anything as far as that stuff goes. And I think you start to think you need to win so we can make sure we keep our ranking, and win so we can, no, we need to win because that's the name of the game. And that's what we set out to do each day. And so that's kind of what I'm referring to in that.
How do you change that mindset going into next season?
We have experience now at that. You know what I mean? And I'm getting better at coaching every year. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to evolve. And so we go through experiences, and then if we don't learn, then that's on me. So I'm going to make sure that that's a message that they hear. Like, oh, we don't care what we're ranked. You should be ranked high. You're really good. So just don't worry about that stuff. You worry about just win the next pitch.
I asked you what the high was, so I have to ask, what was the low?
The low was that stretch. It was, I mean, that would be an easy one. It was just, we weren't getting blown out of games. Like, it'd almost be better if we were just getting blown out in a way. But we were in, of those 11 losses, we were in probably 10 of those games, like where it was a one-run game. We lost like 3 of those in the 8th or the 9th. So extras, it's you just go through all that stuff and you're just like, man, we could not figure out what to do, and talked and worked through stuff, but we couldn't get out of it. So that was the lowest point, but it'll probably be one of my best learning experiences personally.
Your team is going to be different next year, just the nature of the game in college sports. Where does this team build on what has been created this season?
Oh, we just, it's going to be hard. I mean, we're getting closer and closer, and so the line is finer than it's ever been. So this team is just going to have to continue the growth in toughness, and the growth of just making sure that everything that we do is the Cowgirl way. Everything that we do is set up for one common goal. And that becomes hard because you got to keep people accountable always.
How soon after one season ends do you start looking forward to the next one?
Oh man, I'm already in the next one. That's what stinks. And that's the worst thing about coaching. To be very honest, the worst thing is they should make every sport, like they should put us in a dead period for 30 days, like for mental health. Like it's real. And like, we need it too. I mean, these kids need it, we need it, but I've already been gone for a week recruiting. I just got back, I've been gone, it's been wild. Unfortunately, I'm already there. And fortunately too, I'm not mad. I love what I do. I love this job. So, but it just would be nice to get some time, force us to take time. But you're worried. You're worried about if you don't show up, you're going to lose out on so-and-so. So it's part of it.
That's my next question. What would happen if you decided I'm just going to take a 2-week break?
Probably nothing. It's it's FOMO, it's what it is. It's like the fear of missing out, I think. The fear of I see people take breaks, and I'm like, man, I just think it's hard to get back in it. And so I think that's what we all fear. But it would probably be healthy. Like, I'm going to get a break. I'm going to get a break I go to Colorado for a week and I'll get a break there. I'm going to take a week there with my family. And then I'll take another week in August at least. But it's like, it would be nice to have 2 weeks off where they took your phone and your computer away and said, go away. And, maybe one day.
You're already focused on the next season. What will it take for this team to make it to a 5th straight Women's College World Series?
Good play, good teammates. We're talented enough to do that. But we'll have to become one team. That is my sole purpose here, is to try to get a group of women to become one. I have great coaches that can take care of the softball stuff, and I'll help them out where they need that. But that's my focus, is just to help this team become a team, and to understand that there's a lot of personalities, there's a lot of young talent in this organization. So we're going to lack some maturity probably up front. So trying to figure out who the leaders are, all that kind of stuff, or who the voices are. That's what it'll take, because we're talented enough to do that again.
How hard is that particular part of the job?
Some days it's really hard, and other days it just kind of falls into a place. So it's a challenge that I love. I love it. I love to be able to knock drama out, knock little things out that don't matter, that don't help us be who we want to be, because I think it's part of teaching these kids. Like, it's the biggest. I think softball is one of those. The reason that people play sports is their life lesson games, right? Probably nothing is as life lesson as wrestling, but the failure in baseball and softball are wild. And so teaching these kids how to handle that stuff and all that, that's just things I love and things that I look forward to, even though I know that there's going to be some late night phone calls, late night texts, people coming to the house and just kind of getting whatever's on their chest off their chest, right? And working through these things. A lot of times it really is nothing, but it feels like everything in the moment.
You mentioned in one of your earlier answers how softball has evolved. They've gotten more resources. I don't know how much of the Women's College World Series you watched because you were busy coaching and game planning. If you saw any of the aerial shots, that stadium was packed. What does it mean to you to see such a turnout for this sport and it growing on such a national stage?
Yeah, it's craziness. They have a problem like we have here. They keep announcing that it's sold out and then people don't show up, they could, if they had 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 more seats, they'd fill them because there's that much demand. It's just wild. I back in 2000, in my previous school, or my previous where I played at, I won't mention
talk about
their
them.
name. Yeah, I was in the dugout for the 2000 national championship, and they didn't have that upper deck. It was more like a carnival. Now it's more like a stadium, and to see that the way it looks on TV, I think ESPN had over 40 cameras there. I can't even fathom that. It's just amazing the way they're producing it. It's amazing the way they tell the story. It's just crazy. It's just so neat. These girls, I mean, the police escorts, everything that they're getting and being a part of, they feel like queens, and they should.